laner with carry potential. There was that situation where they're locking Kassadin in the height of the mid-top lane ambiguous picks Kassadin, and you knew it wouldn't be a top lane Kassadin because that didn't fit Pokemon, so that's why Zatai coming in made a lot of sense. He could play those carry champions, but now Kid, he plays a carry role, he needs to start carrying his team.
Yeah, definitely more of a support, I have to agree, but we are into Champs League now. World Elite versus IG, our opening game of the LPL Summer. Couldn't have it any other way. The bans, we're pretty far through now. Gragas and Azir both banned by World Elite. As Invictus Gaming go ahead and select, of course, it's a Lucas Scion.
Lucas Scion banned away. Sad for the fans and, of course, us as well to see that train driver at the top. Nidalee is the big question mark. In that IET final, it was played on 5.7, I believe. Nidalee was still being banned out. Still gets those little incidental nerfs that makes the jungle that much more punishing for her. But Spirit, this is a champion he could carry on. We will not forget. It's etched in my memory when he finally picked that Nidalee against EDG and just smashed Clear Love and Foes with a massive carry performance. You have to respect the Nidalee, and you feel like even as the meta starts to favor those Cinderhulk champions, there's always the potential of the Spirit Nidalee.
Yeah, as I said, they can both just whip it out at a moment's notice and go off on Nidalee. So we'll see what happens. Got banned away there from IG is going to be a targeted ban at Mystic. Kalista actually going to get a ban there for World Elite. Sort of a curious pickup there. And IG, they've only got one ban left. Let's see what they want to take away.
I mean, there's a lot of strong champions available. Still some Cinderhulk favorites like the Nunu and Sejuani. Sejuani may be finally starting to move away from a first pick, first ban status. But that doesn't mean, I mean, in a meta like China where we've seen so much wonderful Sejuani play, so much excellent layering of CC, if you want to opt into team fights, what better way than to have that ranged ultimate to start off a fight?
Yeah, and it's actually the Cassiopeia ban away there, so respecting the mid laner just a little bit more. I do like leaving junglers open. Both Spirit and Kakao are so strong that they can play almost anything, but Aluka going to change it up. Hecarim, sorry, is his first pick, not the Scion.
Yeah, snaps off the Hecarim. Still a very strong carry top laner. Probably going to be Teleport Smite, though. We'll have to wait and see. There are good answers available in the draft to deal with this Hecarim, whether it's the likes of a Maokai, who kind of has to give away free farm, but has so much mid-game impact that you can look to take, say, they've already moused over the Rek'Sai here. Rek'Sai Maokai will be so much mid-game power to answer the late-game power of Hecarim, or potentially just opt into the Gnar, which is a very strong laning matchup. Zatai's played a lot of Gnar. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gnar to be the answer to the Hecarim.
Yeah, they're going to hide it for a little while now. Aluka does currently have Teleport Smite, so we'll keep track of that. But Rek'Sai, one of the best junglers still, it's a great champion for Kakao. But Alistar is starting to see a lot more play, and I was sort of thinking as we actually saw EDG at MSI, Alistar, you look at a tank meta like this, and what better way to beat your opponent's tank v tank, just to have another tank from support.
And I feel like Alistar's the last, kind of beats down the last remnants of the mid lane assassin meta. People have still been playing that LeBlanc, rocking it. It's been banned and picked at first pick status. You pick Alistar, suddenly there's someone you cannot burst down as LeBlanc or as the Castle that's being moused over here. Alistar pops that Unbreakable Wall, is never going to be a target for burst CC, and of course, provides so much CC on his own.
Yeah, fine team fighter as well as World Elite. Going to go back to some old tricks in Nunu. Yeah, Nunu is picked up here by Spirit. That's going to be his jungler, but Kassadin has to be a mid laner there, you think, there with the Hecarim already picked up. So a curious pickup there for Shie, but don't forget, we haven't seen him in quite a while, but I'm going to give Rookie some time because he plays quite a number of champions, but I like to see the Victor at least hover it over for a second.
Surprised to see the early Kassadin priority. I guess that shouldn't be too much of a surprise. China was the first seen, Godfrey in particular from LGD, to pick up the newly reworked Kassadin. There's a lot of options available. He's been mousing over the hard counter matchups like of Talon, but opts into more of a skill matchup with the Orianna. Still naturally going to beat Kassadin lane with that auto attack harass. Still a very strong matchup against Kassadin, but it's not a super punishing matchup like Rookie was mousing over.
Yeah, good against assassins for sure. Orianna's always been solid, but there's an Evelynn in this draft here that Kid's just selected, and they already have a Rek'Sai and an Alistar. You're the color commentator, Papa Smithy. Good luck.
Why do these things happen to me?
Look, it's the first game back in China. I don't think there should be any other way.
I mean, Rek'Sai top would be very powerful here. Teleport Smite's already been moused over. I mean, Rek'Sai does so much early damage in the jungle. She could definitely power through the jungle with Smite. It'd be a bit go-going style, and going didn't get that much success on the champion for OMG. But I don't think it's going to be Teleport Smite Evelynn, but that's a possibility.
Well, we'll have to find out here as well. They've finished their draft. Kog'Maw actually is the pickup there for Mystic in a pairing with Conan's Morgana. Curious to see with Jinx open and Nunu already picked that they wanted to take Kog'Maw, but Mystic, we've seen it before, is going to go back on a hyper carry.
I mean, World Elite, this draft, I don't like it very much because how many losing lanes can you pick in one game? Hecarim always going to be out-pressured by most top laners. I guess at this point it's nebulous to see who's actually going to be in the top lane. Cassian's not going to have much lane control in the mid lane. Morgana and Kog'Maw from level 6 will start to get good in trades, but definitely will struggle at the start of the game. So this pick and ban phase is just crazy across the board. We're going to probably see Ezreal for a bit of self-peel. Makes sense given there's so many people trying to get on top of him. Going for that self-peel choice. Kid was always confident picking Ezreal into tough matchups like the Corki. And sticks with it here.
Yeah, it's a classic Kid champion. So he's been playing it for quite literally years in the bottom lane. So that'll be the lane there with the Alistar. Fairly defensive, like you mentioned, but very reliable and should be just fine there against the Kog'Maw Morgana especially. To answer your question, it seems like it's Rek'Sai top lane with the teleport smite. So going the Prophet all the way late in last season. We might have called him crazy, but here we are, game 1 of the summer split in the LPL, and look what happened.
I mean, the jungle follow is going to be insane. Rek'Sai so fast at farming the jungle. Happy to leave lane. Picks up an item. Probably going to be the Hydra first if they're going to see the going score thought, or maybe just the Cinderhulk, of course, maybe is the more likely choice. They have a lot of options when it comes to a very flexible champion. Has that double global between the summoner teleport and, of course, the Void Rush. And what a crazy top lane matchup. It's Aluka on the Hecarim against Zatai of all champions, Rek'Sai.
Yeah, and what you can't see there is the smites that they both have as well. His 2 more smites, by the way, as Nunu versus Evelyn's going to be our matchup. We saw this again from Clearlove. Likes the Evelyn into Nunu matchup specifically.
And you can cleanse the slow with your W, so of course get snowball, then able to get out as Evelyn. And of course, you've got a very high pressure jungler in Nunu who wants to invade, but you never really have eyes on Eve unless you have excellent ward coverage down in the mid lane. Rookie should be able to pressure that Cassian confidently.
Yeah, probably both happy with the Farm Fest, but we'll see how the pressure goes. Mystic back on the long range carry. It's not Jinx though, it's Kog'Maw versus the Ezreal. And last but not least, Conan kind of rejoining the lineup as a new old player, I believe you called him. That's Morgana versus Kitty's Alistar this time around too. We did not see much in the late end of last season.
Its Alistar priority was the order of the day at MSI, and now moving into the LPL season. First round Alistar pick. It's copying what we saw from Bang & Wolf. Ezreal, Alistar, about as safe a 2v2 lane as you could pick after maybe a level 1 where they struggle a bit.
Yeah, just lots of good CC, plenty of options, lots of maneuverability. I love the lane, to be honest.
It's safe. It doesn't pressure very well. It's not the best in a 2v1, although it roams. Roaming Alistar is a very scary thought. And you can just plonk Ezreal in the lane. He can open so much distance with, of course, the E and then flash. And he's going to be able to be very safe. It's a safe lane, but definitely not a high pressure.
No, and I think with that jungle follow potentially coming through, early lane movement's going to be very crucial here as well.
I mean, will they be looking into the 2v1? That's the question. Evelyn with a roaming Alistar potential. You're talking about crazy games. Get that Alistar level 2. Show up with the Evelyn damage and the Alistar CC, and you can wreck the day of a mid laner, a bottom laner, whatever you want to go for.
Yeah, you can. I mean, fun stuff already. I'm glad it didn't take more than a game to get Evelyn and Rek'Sai somehow in the same game, on the same team, but LPL, we're glad to have you back. What can I say?
Yeah, the Cinderhulk meta. I don't know anything about that. It's going to be Warrior, most likely from the Evelyn. Evelyn has been seeing a lot of play in the LCK. It's been seeing a lot of play over in Taiwan as well. It's just been a very popular pick. Clearlove breaks it out, and then everyone's like, wait, Evelyn's pretty good now.
Yeah, I mean, still really strong. Just lines up well. It's very tanky, does decent sustained damage. There's just a lot to love about the champion, especially in this matchup. But we're about to start our first game of the summer split. Let's get right into the LPL. And welcome onto the Rift here as we do start off our first match of the day. World Elite versus Invictus Gaming in a best of 2. And as we said, Papa, there is no better way to start a fresh season of the LPL.
Looks like standard lane's going to break up. Cal picks up his blue, but actually not enough experience to pick up level 2 instantly. Obviously donated a bit of experience over to Kid and Kitties with those small goals.
He can seize the tie there as well as taking away a camp himself. So you mentioned it already a strong jungler on her own with the smite for the top side as well. Going to rip through camps if he wants to.
And now teleporting to lane with the Ruby Crystal. So it's going to be standard lanes breaking out. Definitely not standard picks, but the standard lanes at least to start off the game.
Yeah, and I like the Ruby Crystal there as well. I mean, we mentioned the Warrior enchant. They'll likely pick up their for Cacao, but have to think Zatai's going to want that Cinderhulk.
I mean, Cinderhulk's probably going to be the start when it comes to Zatai in particular. It just scales so well. Of course, you want to put that challenging smite onto Kog'Maw, reduce the damage, try and dive that Kog'Maw in the late game. You don't have Flash, so the Flash on Burrow is not going to be a potential initiation of them. So perhaps early home guards and then some flank wards to try and get that CC onto the back.
Yeah, it's just a very different style of top laner that we've seen. Of course, Aluka looking okay so far. Have to be careful with the early trades that Rek'Sai does not mess around when it comes to early damage. Kakao already here, but a wonderful pink ward's going to spot him. But Aluka, that's the wrong side of the lane. There's a tie taking a little bit too much damage, but Aluka's going for a long ride to tie. Finds the first unborrowed. Kakao's going to come through Aluka. No flash to speak of here with his smite on the top side, and he will go down as Kakao gets first blood.
It just felt too much strength having the pink ward down that unfortunately was so far overextended. No flash. Don't even know if he'd skilled Devastating Charge at level 3 just yet. And regardless, it wasn't enough. That's first blood to IG.
And this is the teams we've seen play best against this top lane Hecarim that's been dominant for the last few weeks, and honestly in recent tournaments as well. Gank that Hecarim before he hits level 6 because he is very vulnerable.
It was the very smart jungle pathing coming through from Bengi of SK Telecom, shutting down Dyrus on Hecarim in a very similar matchup. If you just make that very smart jungle pathing straight to top, you're always going to be confident as Hecarim to be able to push. You can just spam out the Q and try and push the wave. You get punished for it, and that's already first blood over to IG.
And that's the hard thing about Luca here is Spirit actually going to come through trying to get a bind down, but Conan does not hit it, and instead the very safe Alistar Ezreal walks straight out of that gank.
I just worry here for Waterley. I mentioned it during the draft. You've got losing lane matchups in top and mid. Bot will start to arrest around level 6, but it still starts as a losing matchup to some degree. And then you've got a high-pressure jungler like Nunu. If Nunu goes on too many solo invade missions against an Eve that's hard to keep track of, and of course pushed in lane, so more likely that IG will be the first to react, you could get punished in the jungle as well, and then everyone will be losing.
Yeah, you can see Kakao even with some extra pressure as well. And I agree with the bottom lane. I think it starts neutral and slowly ascends in the Kog'Maw's favor, but among anything else, it's slow. It is really slow to get going.
And that's the worry you take. Of course, you know, spawn into this game 30 minutes, you're going to be happy to be Waterley if you're going to have a 2-3 item cast, and if you're going to have Aluka, Trinity Force, Cinderhulk. But at this present point, nothing like that to show for
Not
it.
right now as Mystic getting some good pressure down. Actually 10 CS ahead of Kids so far, so looking good in the lane. Spirit, bit of counter jungling's taken away the Scuttle Crab on the Dragon side as well, as Mystic and Conan going to start pushing down and do some damage to this turret here. This is something that Ezreal Alistar really doesn't fancy.
Absolutely. They don't have a lot of wave clear coming through between the two of them. Of course, the Targon's procs coming through from Kid. He's on the Relic Shield. And Kid, that's the one downside of Ezreal is you don't have AoE wave clear until level 6 till you have that True Shot Barrage. You can prune the wave with your Mystic Shot, but you're kind of at the mercy of both Mystic and Conan, specifically Conan, the only person in the lane with really that AoE pushing ability.
Yeah, a bit of a long-range auto attack as well. Just to add to that turret pushing, as you can see, Conan doing some nice zoning. Kakao putting down a ward. Might look to the Dragon, actually. Level 4 right now on the Evelyn with the Skirmisher Saber already finished, but doesn't want to quite go for it yet.
I mean, Eve is no Nunu when it comes to soloing down Dragon. She's very brittle in the jungle. They added on that extra 10 flat damage onto the Q, the hate spikes, so you can actually clear the jungle fairly fast. Of course, stay higher HP just because you're killing the jungle faster. Kitty's initiates, but probably just looking for a bit of trade damage.
Yeah, good combo there, but Mystic will pop the Bioarcane Barrage and just pop a couple of shots back in there as well. As we can see, evened up the lane now has Kid and Kitty, so that aggression buys him a bit of space as both top laners hit level 6, and Aluka had a rough start to the game. It's not Silent that he's playing, and not the same safe champion that he's used to, but has managed to navigate with a nice bit of CS straight to level 6 now, nice and safely.
To some degree, though, the pressure's on IG when it comes to actually using this early game comp advantage they have. Because in the late game, Nunu Kog, okay, it was originally an AD carry support duo, but it's always been very, very strong. Throw on that Blood Boil, get massive damage coming out of the Kog'Maw, giving it just another steroid to just increase the efficiency of those item pickups. Suddenly your first item timing is enhanced from that extra attack speed and movement speed coming through from the Blood Boil. You're going to have Nunu zoning with the ultimate, 2 backline massive threats between Castan and Hecarim. Late game team fighting is crazy strong from World Elite, so it's on IG to do what you mentioned, pick up those dragons, pick up those turrets, because if it just goes neutral, the gold lead stays within 1 to 2,000 come 20 minutes. Waterley's going to be very happy.
Yeah, I mean, you already said it, you know, effectively 2, arguably 3 at least slow, if not losing lanes. Yeah, that's a farm game here for Waterley. So we'll see what they get done. Spirit has reasonably contained Kakao in the early levels, but again, both these junglers who once upon a time, and even recently in the LPL, were known for aggression, they have slowed things down considerably in the first 10 minutes.
And again, it suits World Elite like we mentioned. Kakao has to get things done. Soon going to have the ultimate available, the Agony's Embrace. Maybe be able to get some things started, but otherwise, very equal CS values. Even Cassidy in a difficult matchup, only 10 CS down or less at this present point. And Kog'Maw's winning in CS, so that seemed to be the prophecy. This lane will just get better for Kog'Maw. It started pretty good, so worrying times for Kid and Kid.
Yeah, Rookie, though, does have his blue buff, clears out a pink ward, so nice movement there. Aluka still on the top side trying to fight Zatai, but does not come recommended again. Even just with the Balmy Cinders, Zatai's now picked that up as well. The damage when that Fury Bar's filled is just ridiculous.
So much AoE damage from the Q, and then, of course, the Cinderhulk burning on the lane minions. Kakao just retreats, going to pick up his red buff. Things are relatively quiet, although Mystic takes a nice little burst.
Yeah, good pressure there actually set up nicely by Kiddies as Kid gets the full damage of the ultimate down, but Mystic just going to keep farming away. Conan chugs a potion, and it has been a while since they've gone back, but Kog'Maw, he's going to have a nice first shop to do.
When Kog'Maw does back, in general, this lane has been relatively pushed up for Worldly. That's been the one lane where they managed to have wave control. Just because of item timings, Jia's been able to push up in the mid lane. Top's been a pretty equal. If IG can start to get some wave control in the bottom lane, mid will be easy because, of course, so much more ranged wave clear coming through from Rookie. That's the real go time for this first dragon. It's already 9 minutes in, which by at least spring season standards is going to be a late first dragon. But they need to start getting on the board, because if World Elite pick up the first dragon, they'll have had everything going for them in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that's exactly the pace they want in this game. As we can see, some early items have been completed. It's actually 3 jungle items now completely done and enchanted here. We've got a Cinderhawk, Stalker's Blade, sorry, they're coming through for Spirit with the Chilling Smite, and double Skirmisher Saber, a Warrior though for Evelyn as her in chat, and of course the Cinderhawk for Zatai's Rek'Sai.
So even though the jungle pool, the true jungle pool, is starting to favor Warrior junglers to some degree once again, you are fitting in. Man, that feels so low in mid.
That flash was really clutch there by Shea. Keeps himself safe, but Rookie with a cleanse nonetheless and a bit of pressure from Kakao forces Spirit to come cover his lane as he recalls home.
And look at this lane of matchup starting to get difficult. Only has the Catalyst, still of course looking to power up. The power trough is real for Casson at this present point. The question for Kid is, we've actually seen him on this Ezreal just go straight Trinity Force, not pick up the tier. Not backing in the first 10 minutes suggests to me probably going to be no Mana Moon if you want to have a bit more presence in bot.
Yeah, Kid does favor the Trinity Force as Kid, he dives right in. Punts Conan back there as he's forced to flash away. Mystic going to go in for Kakao, ready to go as the teleports are coming for both. They're going to turn it around. Kiddies though pops his ulti. Conan getting low, but Aluka, he's found his way in first. Pops his ulti, gets onto Zatai there and smites away onto the Alistar as well. Mystic's forced to kite away. Spirit channels his ulti, takes out Alistar. Mystic's kited Zatai away. Kid's going to go down as Nunu gets a double, and Zatai just going to dodge that binding, but Shie's coming as well. Spirit is going to dive in there, but it's a little too far, but World Elite win the first skirmish 3-1.
Excellent target selection coming through from World Elite, focusing first onto Kakao. Lots of consistent damage, but super brittle with just a Warrior enchant. Took down that Evel and then just changed targets as possible. The jungler being dead means it's a very safe first dragon, and this is the prophecy I had. World Elite going to be super happy if they can take down the first dragon, and they're going to take it uncontested.
Yeah, you can see Spirit there with the Snowball Max, but does have a smite and didn't even need his consume actually just to take away the dragon, but plenty of neutral control there, and all of a sudden those first 3 crucial kills and the dragon evens that gold right back up. In fact, World Elite a slight lead, but again with this team comp, that's exactly where they want to be 11 minutes in.
Exactly, a scaling team comp with the neutral advantage, no turrets to speak of, no disadvantage whatsoever. Things looking excellent for World Elite.
Yeah, Shea returns to his lane. Rookie still bullying, actually, 63 to 100. This is one of Rookie's trademarks, so he loves to bully laners constantly. His wave control in the mid lane in particular, it's just wonderful to behold.
It's just a very punishing matchup. You might think that LeBlanc versus Casson will be super punishing for Casson, but of course you can make those trades, just put extra points into your Null Sphere, and that magic damage shield helps you out so much. That doesn't help you against the auto attacks from Orianna, and then the harass is so much less predictable that you just end up getting chipped down extensively. And then the late game, there's always situations where Orianna might actually be more powerful than Casson in some burst scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the other problem there as well. Cassidy can't really aggressively trade with his Q, and he's getting significantly outranged by the ball.
Yeah, exactly. There's just not many good items here for many good options here for Jia, and it's just falling further and further behind.
He's starting to farm up, but falling quite far behind his Kakao. He's found his way in the top lane here, actually, looking at gank Aluka, but ultimate not actually quite available. The Tiger to dive in. Kakao will move in as well, but devastating charges popped, and Hecarim just runs straight away.
It's a very optimistic attempt to pick up a kill. Maybe they want to pick up the second, the blue buff. Is that the third blue buff will be spawning very, very soon. Creating pressure up the top lane, but kill pressure onto a Hecarim, even if the ult wasn't up. Between those two champions, not so high.
You can see some engages in the bottom as well as the wave gets pushed back into World Elite Star. But Mystic, he's got his Shin, he's got his Phage. He can start to maybe win some trades here if he wants as well. But Kid has equalized that power spike with the exact same items as we are going to see a first item Trinity Force for both AD carries.
And it's very smart to just understand the situation. If he opts into a tier, it'd be just too little power, too much scaling required. Look at this trade from Mystic.
Yeah, the Black Shield Mystic is just going in there. Kitty's almost eats another living artillery as well. And all of a sudden, Kog'Maw wrests control right back of the lane.
And if I was to describe Kog'Maw as a champion to lane against, I'd say for the first 5 levels, it's actually okay. You know, he can trade. He has that no mana Biochem barrage. It's kind of annoying to trade with. But from level 6 onwards, those trades get really nasty.
Yeah, especially with the Shin and the Fade, which is done. So a big spike there is Aluka fighting back Zatai here in the top side. They've both got their skirmishes, sabers, and their Cinderhawks now completed. But the next major buy might be the big one as Zatai got himself a Ruby Crystal already, but Aluka's going home to shop. He's got his Flask, he's got his Saber. Where is he going next?
That's the big question. Of course, we don't know the gold values at present, but it's all about the Cinderhawk start into the further items. In terms of actual gold, very, very equal between the two top laners. Zatai has a bit more flexibility, hasn't finished his boots too, so could look towards the Giant Spell to get that percentage scaling going with the Cinderhawk enchant. But in general, we're seeing very formative builds. We know where the AD carries are going. We know where the Cinderhawk champions are going, but we're waiting to see any of the sort of differences when it comes to just valuing damage. And speaking of damage, it's a Black Cleaver meta, and there's a Phage on Rek'Sai.
Yeah, we have to remember that 5.8, we can now start to think, look at that Phage and think, all right, is it going to be a Trinity Force or is it going to be a Black Cleaver? And have to think for Rek'Sai, it might just be Black Cleaver.
I'm going to think Black Cleaver. It builds really well. That's kind of the thing that people haven't talked about the Black Cleaver, is that if you're a top laner with Cinderhawk, you buy 2 Ruby Crystals, suddenly you're getting percentage bonus health coming through. Luca's taking a bit of burst damage, but no real kill pressure there. So you get those double Ruby Crystals into an eventual Phage and Kindle Gem for a bit more tankiness. You have the Phage for excellent trading, and then Black Cleaver, with that 20% CDR, between Summoner, Teleport, and what, 30-40% CDR eventually going to be onto Zatai, we're talking about instant global presence every, what, 40 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, we did start to see a bit of this, but we didn't quite have Black Cleaver in. All the pieces weren't there for go going.
20% CDR is pretty sweet.
Yeah, not a bad stat there at all. So we'll see how Zatai ramps up here as he is looking good there in the lane, actually. It's pretty even in the top, like you mentioned. Mid is actually a horrible position, unfortunately, as now Xie might even get Doe Picker, Cal moving in, but he'll just give up the turret.
And this is what I wanted to see earlier in the game from Invictus Gaming. Take down those neutrals, because there's not much wave clear coming through from World Elite. That's the only hole in their comp. Mystic can do a bit of it between spamming out that ultimate and the E, the Voidoo. Aluka, melee range wave clear, and same story with Cassian. So pick up those early turrets. That's the minimum standard for IG in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, dragging up in a minute 25 as well. So we'll see if World Elite can go for their second or if IG will pick up their first. And as we'll live in the lane, does open up a bit more space for Mystic, who has a decent lead. But I talked about the mid lane gold difference. It's already 1,000 up for Rookie.
I want to see Cacao in particular start rotating to the top lane, not for the gank pressure, but again for taking down these turrets, chipping them down as much as possible. Not ideal with 2 melee top laners, but so much wave clear coming through from Zatai. Cacao can help with turret damage. Just use the E ability to pick up extra attack speed and then just smash away on the turret. They need to get those 3 outer turrets down, get those aggressive wards in, because if they can't at least have flank advantage with aggressive wards, just from the fact that they have so much wave pushing, they're not going to have a lot of strategic options to answer what is soon going to be 2-3 item Cassidy and Hecarim.
Yeah, you know, it should be a relatively simple task there. A Spirit going to come into the mid lane, but Rookie just shields himself up and runs away under the dissonance. There's no Sightstone yet for Nunu. In fact, neither jungler has a Sightstone yet. And if flank wards are what it's all about, IG going to find themselves an easy time as Mystic does take a combo, but takes a big chunk of damage as a result. That trade not winning at all. Kitty's with the ulti on, goes down. Mystic gets another kill, but they can't get the turret, and Conan just living in that exchange.
Kitty's was really late with the Unbreakable Will. I think he wanted to save the mana and just use that for different abilities. Didn't pop it, dies in the trade. Turret doesn't go down, but it's literally 1 hit away from dying. And this lane just gets better and better for World Elite.
Yep, they've both got the Trinity Forces, but I don't think they're created equal in this lane, especially with Kog'Maw now being level 10. Tower will go down as Mystic stays around to pick up a bit of extra gold for himself and clear out the next mending wave. And Kid, no other major purchases, actually waiting for the wave to come back so we can get a bit of extra gold. But Mystic, the big carry for World World Elite starting to get stronger and stronger.
And I feel like Ezreal versus Kog'Maw is a different lane and identity to, for example, the Ezreal versus Corki matchup that Kid loved to opt in with Ezreal. At least when you pick up Trinity Force on Ezreal, okay, you don't have the same standing damage as a Corki, but you can poke from 1100 range with the Mystic shot and get good trades in. You're not going to outrange Mystic with trades. You're going to take just the same Trinity Force procs and then more and more harass with the Bioarcane Barrage. It doesn't feel like this lane ever tips towards Ezreal, despite the fact that, I mean, Kog'Maw's going to push in. Kog'Maw's got arguably the better late game. Not the safer, but certainly more damage in the late game.
Yeah, Luca here trading up with Zatai as well, keeping that CS relatively close. And that Kindle Gem in Zatai's inventory means that Papa Smithy, you may just be right here. I think we're going to be seeing our first Black Cleaver of the day. And I'm going to guess not our last.
I'm surprised it wasn't a Black Cleaver. Nah, that's probably the strongest of the Black Cleaver champions, but Nocturne, Rek'Sai, both excellent with that item. Usually won't see it on a Rek'Sai just because you don't have quite that income in the jungle. But if you're coming out of the top lane with the extra income, Black Cleaver's great.
Going apparently was right here, the Time Lord predicting correctly as a couple wards get cleared away. That Dragon back up now as Rookie gets his blue buff. Both teams looking to contest. Most of the champions have been back to shop. They've got their extra gold, so who is going to get control around the Dragon Pit? As World Elite clear out a world, but IG already have the speed shrine.
I'm going to pull you back. Are we really comparing going to
no.
good old Genja?
We are not. But impressive to see that the Rek'Sai was not just something that he wanted to do for fun. Clearly had something going on there.
I mean, look, obviously has that potential for global presence with the teleport, and eventually towards the late game going to have that neural network with the tunnels up. There was always some validity to the pick, but such a strong jungler that you're giving away huge jungle pressure usually, but with Evelynn back in the champion pool, plenty of pressure around the map.
Yeah, I think kind of threw World Elite for a loop in the draft as well, especially with that Nunu, because Cacao.
Come on.
Yeah,
no one was seeing this.
No. But I mean, Spirit picking up that Nunu, Cacao gets his counter pick effectively there as well, so working out in a lot of good ways for IG. And Zatai, he's got a tunnel relatively close to mid lane. He's got his Black Cleaver up now as well, even as his teleport back in. I think we're going to see a team fight here, and IG this time, they are prepared to fight.
It is worth noting that surprisingly, Zatai has more split pushing stats than Hecarim does. Usually it's the Trinity Force that comes in, but not really a team fight build.
Kid is going in though, takes out Conan already as Kid's going to get credit for that kill, and Alistar tanking up so much damage, going to soak Kog'Maw's W completely. Shea trying to find a way in, but Zatai's actually the one with the smite now. Spirit forced to flush away there, Mystic cutting as best he can, but IG maybe can't find this here. Luca might look for a flank, he's right up towards the top side, looking to go back in, he charges in, finds Rookie, gets exhausted though, knocked up there by Zatai as well, gets taken out as the shockwave peels him back in. Zatai gets another kill, Mystic now caught out of position, going to be the next target, forced to flash out from under that. Shea goes in aggressive, Mystic actually gets a kill, but a Dragon and 2 kills, IG will take it.
Yeah, it was a really strange engage from Luca, a literal 1v5, didn't even have the ball riding on him for the guaranteed 5-man shockwave. That's the absolute minimum, is 1 exit kill, but it's definitely advantage IG with that trade.
Yeah, and finally pulling it back a little more. Gold now, nice and even. Objectives evening up as well. And we talked about World Elite's late game coming through. IG, mid-game's not bad at all as Cacao takes away a blue buff. And they might have picked the last possible minute to start getting themselves into this game before World Elite can take it over, but they're picking the right fight so far.
And the big factor with that team fight was the fact that Zatai was the first one there. Black Cleaver's excellent in split push. He was completely smash Luca in trades, but he definitely didn't have the same team fight statistics like the almost completed Frozen Heart. It's not often that Hecarim is more built for early team fights than an opposing top laner. Usually he's the one trying to build a quick Trinity Force from the top lane. But in this situation, Luca had the better stats. Theoretically, would have been better in a true 5v5. It's just with such a quick teleport from Zatai, true 5v5 never happened.
And I think for me, really also showcasing the power of Alistar. Mystic used everything he could on an ulted up Alistar, and Kitties not only got the initial engage to kill Conan, but soaked all of the Kog'Maw's DPS as well.
That's why I say that Alistar's perhaps the ending of the tank metas. We're going to get a replay coming in. So waiting for this is Luca going in 1v5 at the end. Probably not the smartest move. You can see what he was thinking. He's like, I've got to buy enough time for the shockwave. But it was too late in that situation. 4 members fighting together, looking for another pick, but Zatai overextends just a little too far. The answering trade of 1-for-1 belies the fact that 2 kills to 1 and the Dragon went to Invictus game.
And Rookie now got his Luden's Echo completed on the Orianna as well. So they line up that nice shockwave. Actually clipped, I think Shea, but didn't kill him, and managed to get the second kill for themselves onto Aluka. They'll be just fine there if they keep going through. And again, you know, it's maybe not the late game strength, but plenty of mid game strength. And this has been the weird, controlled IG that we've seen a lot of recently. They just get to a point in the game where they decide, okay, we're going to start taking over the game.
And I think they have to at this point. We already mentioned the fact that World Elite in the late game going to have those champions like Cassidy and Hecarim that can do so much work in team fights. Luden's Echo just means that when we're talking about the wave clear advantage between the two teams, it's landsliding the advantage of Rookie in particular with the Luden's Echo, and just Orianna naturally having massive. It's going to be instant wave clear on the backline now with the Luden's Echo prop. And that's why you see World Elite, they have to be the ones to group. But you're not going to get much work done against this IG team.
You can see Rookie gets a couple of Luden's Echo procs on the wave and just cleans it out with a bit of help from Kitties as well. So no push forthcoming. That kid in the bottom side of the map going to see what he can get done as well. You can see quite a few towers still remaining here as well. It's 2-1 in the turret score so far. So IG have a slim lead on that front, but all they have to do, honestly, just keep fighting the way they've been fighting. If they have to wait for Dragons, so be it.
I feel like IG should be rotating Zatai into the bot lane. He's the one that has effectively 2 globals. They're trying to get the pick on Xie.
The Cacao moving in. Xie, pretty hard champion to pin down normally. A lot of Riftworks gets him to the safety of his outer turret, but Cacao, he made a good run of that kill on Cassidy.
A lot of optimism with the use of the Agony's Embrace. We're just trying to pressure, but I mean, just move the Rek'Sai, has good wave clear. They want to take this last outer turret, and they have so many global resources that you might as well throw Rek'Sai in the bottom lane. She's already got multiple tunnels near her top lane turret. Get that last third outer turret and then push up that vision to ensure that the blue and red buffs of World Elite are being contested. Then Cassidy without a blue is going to have little to no wave clear whatsoever.
Speaking of rotations, Mystic actually doing a nice job. They gets good damage onto the turret. Spirit and Koning will join in as well, but it might not be enough. The minion's going to die. Mystic will take a couple of shots up there with the Black Shield, but a little bit afraid of the shockwave from Rookie, I think.
Smart rotation. Both Ezreal and Alistar were back in base, so they were able to get huge chip damage, despite the fact that the minions died instantly to the wave clear coming through from Orianna. Xie's already started this split push wave clear. We were wondering, given Xie's champion pool, loving champions like the Diana and the Assassins, would he be able to recreate that in a meta that really favors more of these wave clear champions? He's trying to do the split pushing on Cassidy, and if he gets away with it, it'll buy World Elite more time to get items onto both he and the Hecarim in the top.
I mean, we talked about his famed Vladimir play already. I think undefeated in 3 games on the champion. So not a massive statistic, but starting to develop quite a taste or quite a record for the champion here. Has demonstrated that he can play more of that sustained damage big team fighter. I think for me, Cassidy might be the best hybrid of both sustained damage and the assassination that he loves.
And there's a good Cassidy comp that could come out here. A Sivir, for example, is your AD carry. With the instant wave clear would have been a much more reliable choice from the AD carry to at least have some semblance of instant ranged wave clear. They've just gone so greedy with all this scaling that it should be punished by IG. At 24 minutes, though, the punishment window is starting to close, and IG, they're what, 1,700 gold ahead? Not a lot.
Yeah, no, under 2,000 here, as you can see. Equal on Dragons up slightly in turrets. Dragon is back in 35 seconds, and items keep coming through for ID, but Mystic, he's got his pickaxe and his first 2 items with the Trinity Force and the Blade of the Ruin King already completed. Kid's quite far behind as far as overall gold goes, and this next fight might not be one IG can freely take.
Teleports are available for both top lanes. It's the second dragon, which of course, not that big in terms of stats, but definitely big on the road towards 5, and specifically the third for movement speed, which might be so critical with one team trying to rotate and the other team trying to siege. We're waiting to see where this second dragon will be decided. Big item pickups coming through from Aluka. Had that frozen heart he was close to. Getting super, super tanky, but no true burst coming through. No sign of the Trinity Force just yet.
You can see World Elite trying to take out the last few hits on that turret, but Rookie, so much wave clear on the Orianna as Xie still on the bottom side, level 13 actually with a good amount of gold. I love this rotation from World Elite. It's so smart to put your Cassidy in this lane.
Especially if the only person to answer that split push at the moment is Ezreal, who doesn't really have much wave control, has no kill pressure. Of course, not many champions have kill pressure on a mid to late game Cassidy, but just really can't do anything but eat these minions and effectively freeze the wave because Ezreal can't choose to push. Doesn't have the option.
Mystic with the black shield there as well. Going to take it out. Rookie actually going to take quite a bit of damage. Great flash by Mystic out of that shockwave, but that was an optimistic attempt at a kill.
Orianna not going to be able to get to dragons. If World Elite can rush it down, they have a lot of dragon damage between the Kog'Maw and Nunu, so they should be able to take this down. And again, the snowball continues for World Elite.
Yep, Zatai taking away the blue buff, but that's not quite the trade that Invictus Gaming would have fancied. Zatai will keep jungling away, but World Elite will shred down the dragon and take their second.
If you don't get those flank wards in, because they haven't taken this bottom turret, that's why they're getting punished here, Pastry Time, is is that we mentioned before, no flash on this Rek'Sai, so can't flash on Burrow into the backline. You need flank wards to get the teleport and potentially a teleport home guard gank, of course. He doesn't even have boots 2 towards the home guard. But if you want to be able to impact a team fight at Dragon, you need those wards. You need the third outer turret to make it easier to get those flank wards, and they just haven't done that, IG.
Yeah, and that was the difference in that last Dragon fight. It was the Thai teleporting there early. Couldn't get it done in the last fight. Ended up being almost basically a pick on Rookie anyway to win it for them. And IG almost smelling a bit of desperation here as they're up around the Baron area trying to at least make sure they get exclusive vision.
I guess it's just a surprise to me because it feels like the win conditions are pretty clear for IG. Get ahead early. It's so arrogant to pick Kassadin and Hecarim just to begin with, let alone a Kog'Maw as well, who doesn't have much wave control either. Say what you will about the individual lane matchups, none of these champions have pushing options, so theoretically, the enemy team should have wave control, should be able to push in and then go for aggressive wards or team fight accordingly. But World Elite have basically gotten away with you know, going for something so arrogant in the first 28 minutes and not been punished.
No, looking good so far, staying strong as Mystic continues to power up. Zhonya's must be done now for Xie as well, just has to go back and buy it, given the amount of gold he's already got. That Athene's even on the way with a Fiendish Codex there as well. Building towards that build we see God be popularized at the end of last split with your Zhonyas, your Athenes, and your Rod of Ages Kassadin.
I mean, once you get those 3 items on level 16, you got a 1-second Rift Walk coming through, just doing so much consistent damage. It's just hard to kill. As the Assassins have gone out the meta, there's no burst damage on the IG side that's going to be able to take down this Kassadin when you hit that 3-item timing, and you're, what, half an item away from finishing that? Scary times for IG. One thing you can say is that if they ever manage to win a team fight, again, I don't know what that looks like in terms of how the mechanics, some sick outplay comes through from Rookie, they can push in very fast. And if there's a couple of members from World Elite, they have little to no wave clear, so they can get a lot of advantages once those death timers get high enough. But it's looking very, very scary.
Yeah, just looking down as well, IG do have a small advantage from the jungle, actually. That locket is really nice for Kakao, and there's no locket at all currently for World Elite. Nor Mikhail's, actually, with that Kog'Maw, who they're probably going to want to protect as well. So World Elite do need a bit more farm and a few more items, but the Zhonya's is done now for Xie. Just going to work in on the Athenes now as well. Last Swift Storm must be close to done for Mystic there as well. And actually, Spirit makes me a lie. He's actually just finished his locket as well.
It's unbelievable to me that 29 minutes in, they still don't have this outer bot lane turret down. Ezreal and Alistar, okay, not much wave clear, but you've got the Rek'Sai with 2 globals. Rotate her fast to be able to pick up that turret. It should have been a freebie 15 minutes ago, but 30 minutes in, it's now a huge hole in the game plan of IG.
And I think the biggest issue has got to be all the free time she has actually gotten moving into these side lanes where Zatai hasn't been to pressure. Even Aluka steals away the Gromp and gets level 16. Sure, he's going to get challenged here by Zatai as the Black Cleaver stacks are doing nicely, but Hilda's devastating charge away actually might not be enough as Zatai thinks about chasing further, but just gives it up.
But the damage trades are going to be landslide in the advantage with the 30% shred coming out from the Black Cleaver. Nothing that the Hecarim can do. It has no damage of his own just yet. Has a Kindle gem, but it's probably going to be the Spirit Visage, of course, and maybe only now going to be into damage, but that Cloth Armor signifies maybe just full tank from Aluka.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Aluka wants to do. He does like his tanky champions, got his Spirit Visage already, and that Cloth Armor I think is right. Mystic gets caught by a Shockwave, and Rookie takes him out, and IG, you ask me what a winning fight looks like? A winning pick looks like that.
And we always mention that aggression is needed from the likes of Rookie because that's not what Kid's about. Flash Shockwave coming through to pick up the kill. Knew that they timed the flash from Mystic, didn't have it for another minute or so, and pick up the kill and look towards Baron.
Yeah, IG are moving aggressively onto the Baron. It's at 40% health now. It's here trying to come through. Aluka going to teleport down and see what he can do, but the Baron is dead there. Kakao takes it out. Spirit flashing into the backline and channels his ulti, but Kid throws out an ulti that tags Xie, and that's 2 kills plus the Baron for Invictus Gaming.
IG need to get out and get as many objectives as possible. The bottom turret, that's just a given, but try and get an inner turret as well. No wave clear available in World Elite, barring perhaps one Force Pulse coming through from Xie. So take turrets while you can.
You've got Ezreal, Baron, and a Rek'Sai that still has a teleport ready. This should be quite a few structures going down. There's the first one as IG going to take out the tier 2 in mid lane, but with Rek'Sai on the top side, they're going to rotate to bottom, pick up their next, as you said, effectively free turret here, but even Kitty's going back with that empowered recall. Seems like IG prefer to set up for Dragon.
It's Very interesting build coming through from Kid. Shades of what Season 2 Wei Zhao builds. Always went Trinity Force into last whistle for the maximum poke damage, but after that pick wasn't really a relevant statistic in a 5v4 situation. They pick up the Baron, then use what is a very strong objective-taking comp to power down that outer mid turret.
Zatai did actually use his ultimate, saves his teleport, but gets pressure down onto this outer turret here as well. So going to open up space around the dragon. Yeah, does have to be careful with this turret. It's dead.
Big damage coming through with the Black Cleaver pickup. The Baron up minions are going to do the work, you'd have to think.
Yep, though, do enough work. That cannon creep coming up nicely. Mystic even kind of getting assaulted by it, has to back away, and Zatai, 4,000 plus health already with the Randuin's Omen plus the Cinder Hulk time. Even a Kindle Gem plus that Spectre's Calfor. I believe you mentioned that Spirit Visage. Zatai does a lot of damage with his Black Cleaver, and he's real tanky as well.
That's the thing. Rek'Sai does so much damage just with a bit of AD in this situation. Can use the Q on the minions to pick up the attack speed and then power down a turret. That was the split push we were looking for earlier, and look at the burst of damage already from one rotation by Rookie.
Yeah, Rookie Rabadon's Death Cap actually his next item as well, and GA does not have that Athene's done yet, nor is he level 16, sitting at 15 currently. So Water Elite, everything was going so well for them, and all of a sudden IG find themselves 6,500 gold ahead, still with a Baron buff, looking to pick up that next dragon as Zatai. He's not stopping the push, and neither are IG here. Mid-tower inhibitor's actually going to fall down now as well.
Massively out-rotated Water Elite. You know they want to look for a fight, but they've lost the turret for free.
Yeah, it's dead. Kid's actually on the right side, just taking it out. Hikikao going to guard him, but Woodley'd have to be careful not diving too far in. Shea going to get some poke down. Kitty's just going to headbutt Aluka away. The teleport's going to come through. Aluka trying to go in onto Kid. It seems like they want Mystic chucking out damage. Spirit uses his ultimate. Rookie just cleans somebody out as Conan goes down. Mystic going to get assaulted there by Kakao and Zatai, and that's a double kill coming through for Evelyn Shea. He lives, but didn't do anything else in that fight. The inhibitor falls and 3 kills as well. IG are not stopping.
This should be the end of the game. Shea's caught up.
That is so much damage as well. Still CC'd through all that burst. Does just get out. No, can't do it as Kitties comes back in again and gets the 4th kill as well. Does kill the All-Star as the tie. He's gone off on some sort of journey to a tunnel, but the Nexus will fall, and Invictus Gaming will take the first game.
Invictus Gaming finally played towards their win conditions. Got that huge pick on Kog'Maw. Was very savvy to know that the Flash was still a minute off cooldown, got the pick, took the Baron, and ended the game almost instantly. Pastry time. The lack of wave clear and greedy comp the World Leader assembled was so close to getting into full gear, but they were forced into engage after getting out-rotated, losing their mid lane inhibitor turret. And they have a comp that works very well around Kog'Maw, but with everyone distracted and diving around, Kog'Maw died for free, and so did World Elite's hopes.
Yeah, that front line not bad as far as dive goes with the Rek'Sai Evelyn, but Rookie, that flash shockwave is phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. It won them the game just from one singular outplay. We're always